Hello, I'm Jason. What's my anime review for Kakegurui? And so this is a 2017 anime that released in July in Japan. However, it's been released on Netflix just recently on February 1st. And so for an international audience, and it's based on a 2014 manga by Homura Kawamoto with art by Toru Naomura. And so the whole anime is based around Hyako Private Academy, which is an institution that houses the privileged and the elite, all the wealthy people in this academy. The whole goal of the academy essentially is to prepare students for their future career paths, whether it be a CEO or some part of the government, perhaps. And it's all about, reading people and other things related to that. And to do that, the whole goal of the academy is gambling. That's the basis of it all. Doesn't matter what your grades are. Doesn't matter how smart you are. It's about how good you are at gambling. And this whole social structure is based around that. We have the super elites, with the student council be above them, and at the bottom, if you are in debt, you're basically demoted to an animal, essentially, with either pretty much a dog, essentially, with their names that they use, mittens for girls, and I forget what the term for the dog for the guys are, but you're essentially lowered down to the least common denominator in this social structure if you are put into debt in this school for pretty much the rest of your life. It seems like the student council is revealed. You can put them into life contracts where literally your life is thought out for you. You get to marry a politician. They determine how many kids you have, and that's basically controlling your life there. And this new transfer student in Yumeko Jambami, she transfers into the school and changes the whole social structure throughout the whole anime, and probably in season 2 as well, since a second season of this anime has been greenlit. And for the first and foremost, I would say that this isn't really your traditional gambling anime. I know a lot of people are mentioning, Psyche, Akagi, many other gambling type of anime. No Game, No Life I've seen brought up as well as a sort of gambling anime. But this one is very more unique, I would say. It's not really about the gambling, because most of the games are pretty simplistic for the most part, especially concerning the legal circumstances around gambling in Japan. The fact that gambling is, for the most part, illegal in Japan. There's been many different movements to get casinos built in Japan, and much backlash from the people as well. I'll put a link in the description down below on Gaijin Goomba's video on what he talks about the current events and the history of gambling in Japan, and the way Kakegurui sort of tackles that subject, and the way it brilliantly sort of illustrates what gambling can do to people, at least the stereotypical and the most the most extreme way of that gambling can really corrupt people and really bring out the worst in people. Because I think that's what Kakegurui is all about. It's not only just the manga, but also the anime really shows that as well. That gambling really does bring out the worst in people, especially with the contrast from the typical high school anime look for the girls compared to the very sadistic and evil and very ugly facial expressions we see from all the characters in the anime, not just the girls but also the guys as well. I really think it's the whole goal of Kakegurui is to really show that gambling can bring out the worst in people, and that these social structures of like Darwinism as capitalism really does create this imbalance within a social structure, and really does bring out the worst in everyone, not only just people from the top, but also from the bottom as well. But despite that interesting commentary, there is a ton of fan service in this anime that I feel is very unneeded. The English dub actors were tweeting on Twitter about which character they're playing, and they've for most of the actors, they've really stressed that this is not for kids, and it's definitely really not for kids, with all the fan service, all of the very ecchi, extremely ecchi, borderline hentai, some scenes as well, with some of the characters. And so it's very much, not kids anime, and not really an anime that you want to be caught watching with out of contact shots, with that meme there of, what the hell are you watching? Every time you're watching this crap, here, that sort of meme, there's out of contact shots that you'll probably get in Kakegurui. And despite all that, though, I think the anime does really capture a lot of great things about gambling. Obviously, gambling is not great at all. It can really ruin your life. So I don't recommend gambling at all, maybe in moderation, but not as a full-on activity or hobby. Bobby, but it really does in the pacing, the camera work is really good in this anime. The director is Yuichiro Hayashi, and he and his team really worked well in each episode, capturing the adrenaline rush you get with gambling, and capturing the thrill and the fear as well from gambling as well. The whole high stakes attempts at putting all this money on the line, and that's what Yumiko Jabami is all about. She's all about taking risks. She literally gets off on taking this huge risk, risking her life, risking all this money, and that works in her favor in terms of the tone of the series. However, for the plots, it doesn't really work that much. Because Yumiko, it's revealed in like the middle part of the episodes that she has a lot of money, like more money than anyone could ever imagine, but still she submits herself essentially into being the lower class, part of the animal mitten, as it's called in the social structure. And so why she's doing it, it's probably just because she wants to face off against more of the student council members and really get the thrill of the whole gambling all these high-level players, and especially the student council presidents. That really is the culmination of all that in the final episode of gambling her, because that's what your official right is as this lower class being, as lowest class citizen in this school, is that you can have official matches to get yourself out of debt. However, Yumiko can get herself out of debt anytime, and so it really kills the stakes of the plot, and the plot itself isn't really very far thick and thin, and so you don't really watch this for the plots. I think it's just more for the experience, watching the tone, the facial expressions, and really just seeing the dangers of gambling and what it can do to people, especially in very extreme circumstances. And so definitely I could be projecting this message of what gambling does to people, and really the capturing of the thrill, not only the fun, but also fear of gambling as well. I mean, Homura Kawamoto, the mangaka for this series, hasn't really talked about much of the series in very much interviews, really much keeping his secrets to himself. It's very common amongst many authors, manga, but also light novels as well. But it seems like from the tone of the series, and just I've read a bit of the manga as well, it really seems like that's the sort of direction Kawamoto wants, also director Hayashi wants as well from this series, is to really show that gambling is very much a big evil. And I think, I've first seen a little bit of these other gambling anime, and I don't really think they go to that direction, even though maybe their plot is a lot better than Kakegurui. I think the tone of Kakegurui is a lot better in terms of treating gambling as a very much a vice, and how much it can change people, how it can change Japan if Japan were to fully legalize gambling throughout the whole entire country. And so, very interesting commentary there. How the commentary, of course, is brought down a bit by the fan service and some of the limited animation styles as well, not only for the facial expressions, those are great, but some other times, it's pretty limited character animations I've noticed here and there. And the plot is pretty thin for the most part. It's very basic, not really much going on in terms of the plot, and especially the plot holes itself, why we should care about these characters, because there's really no stakes involved for the most part. And so, for all that being said, we'll give the series a C+ rating. It's pretty average for the most part. I do think if you are into the tone of a series in terms of visuals and all that stuff there, I think this is the anime for you. And seeing an interesting commentary on capitalism, Darwinism, and also gambling as well. I think it's a very interesting look at that. But if you're not really into the big fan servicey type of things, it's not really for you, especially the ending theme, very fan servicey there. And so what did you think about Kakegurui? Put your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also make sure to like, share, and subscribe as well. Thank you for watching my anime review for Kakegurui. Who's my stay? Bye bye.